All right, what is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? Sorry about that. It decided not to just jump in when I usually do. So we've already missed the opening pomp and circumstance and the opening kickoff, but that is it. What is up, everybody? Phil Nagy, Nagy on Sports, joining you here. It is our official Nagy on Sports simulation of the college football playoff national championship. Notre Dame, Ohio State. We have been waiting for this one for a while. And again, very excited to bring this one to you. Appreciate all 1,134 of our subscribers. Let's get this one kicked off. Beautiful day here in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Riley Leonard, quarterback, will start the game here after receiving the opening kickoff. He'll give it to Love. Love will try the right side. He's going to run right into Jordan Hancock with a little bit of Sonny Styles. Jeremiah Love, the very talented, again, just true sophomore, 6'10", 210 pounds. Good look at him on the right side. Caden Curry in for the Buckeyes. Hey, Mitchell, welcome in. Up the middle now, Love again. This time he'll run into a wall met by Caden Curry. So interesting, Caden Curry getting a little bit of a start here. And at least some situational pass rush packages. And it looks like the camera crew has decided we're going to need the gloriously sweeping pan of the stadium between each play, which is just fantastic. So buckle in. We're going to be here for a while. 3rd and 4 for Leonard now. He will fake a play action pressure in his face. He's going to go down and be swallowed up by 1, 2, 3 Buckeyes, led by Ty Hamilton. And the senior from Pickerington starts off the Natty with a bang. They're going to sack Leonard, and the Irish will go 3 and out. Look at him just beat him. Again, we haven't even really gotten to start to talk about some of the keys to the game, one of them being a couple of injuries to that offensive line of Notre Dame, which means that in theory Ohio State will just feast even more than they have most of these playoffs. Again, that's the left tackle and the right guard. The left tackle is definitely out. The right guard is questionable. So out on offense for the first time today. Let's see what the Buckeyes look like. Welcome in, Mike. Welcome in, George. Yeah, I have the day off, so trying to knock one out here during the day for you. Home recovering from the final part of my leg surgery as Quinshawn gets tackled from behind by Tuilamaka. Looks like he maybe had a step there, unable to penetrate too much further than that. Before being swarmed down by Junior Tuilamaka from Grenada Hills, California, 6'2", 255. Second play of the day here. Will Howard pointing out defenders. Motion coming from Quinshawn. Back to pass. Howard quickly over the middle. Diving catch. Couldn't make it. G. Scott had space. Didn't really feel like Howard needed to put quite so much on it, but you can see there maybe felt the pressure. Maybe just a little excited goose that first throw of the day. Hey, Jim, welcome in and go Bucks. Buckeyes by 10, says Mike. Okay. I'd be happy with that. Buckeyes by 1 is all I care about. Motion coming from Jeremiah Smith. Now Howard back to pass against the 4-man rush. Left side throw, and he throws it right on the dot. Egbuka falling to the ground. That is the jerseys Ohio State's going to wear. They call that the heritage stripe on the sleeve. Technically, Notre Dame is the home team as the higher seed, because remember, Ohio State is the 8th seed in this tournament. Nice catch there by Egbuka for a first down, and the Buckeyes now moving into Irish territory. Quick little throw, slant over the middle, caught by G. Scott. He is able to hold on this time. He'll pick up a gain of 5, and the clock keeps running. Again, do appreciate everybody being on. Phil Nagy, Nagy on Sports is the channel. Only place on YouTube you're going to find live simulated sporting events with the live original commentary and interaction with you, the faithful fans. And again, I do appreciate all of my subscribers. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Here comes Travion right side with some space to the 25 to the 20, and Travion, his first touch goes for 17, and the ball is stuck on his hand. Our first glitch of the day. Look at this run. Looks nice pull there from Luke Montgomery, again playing for the technically injured, not injured, but no longer starting at left guard, Donovan Jackson, because he's at a left tackle. Keep in mind the second best defensive tackle for the Irish. Touchdown! I'll finish my thought in a second. First points of the day belong to guess who? Emeka Egbuka. He's already telling the night-night celebration to the Notre Dame fans, and Ohio State drives right down the field with Emeka Egbuka catching the ball and falling into the end zone. Let's look at this one again. Howard with good protection. Fired it left side and just the skinniest of little posts. And he beat Jordan Clark, the safety, that time in a really nice play. Buckeyes take the early advantage here in, where are we? Atlanta, I think. Hey, Wendell, welcome in. Yeah, a lot of things happened in the Texas game, Wendell. One of which is that Ohio State did about the only thing they could have done to keep Texas in it, which was all those silly drops and silly penalties and those self-inflicted mistakes. And much like this one, if we play a clean game, I think the talent will show itself. Certainly did on that opening drive here in our sim. 7-0 now, Buckeyes with the lead. And Jadarian Price up to just the 15. I'm not sure why the guys don't do the fair catch inside. Maybe you can fair catch it anywhere inside the 25 and get it to the 25. I'm surprised we don't see that more. Motion coming from Jeremiah Love. Play action. Leonard. He's got good protection because the Buckeyes rush 3, but he can run. He'll take off 20 to the 25. It'll be tackled by Hancock. Ball is punched at by several guys, but stays in, and that is certainly one thing we know Ohio State's defense is going to have to prepare for, and that is the legs of Riley Leonard. He can hurt you with them, and that is part of their running game, and they have to run the ball. You heard Coach Freeman say it in all of the preamble to this game, is that they have to be able to run the football. Pressure coming, watch out, Sawyer! Jack Sawyer, Captain Jack, of course, put a rubber stamp on that Texas game with his scoop and score. 83 yards to the heart of the South. Will be an iconic Buckeye play for a long time, especially if they go on to complete their ultimate goal on Monday evening. Anyway, I don't even remember what I was talking about earlier when they scored a touchdown. Oh, the makeshift offensive line, yes. Where the Buckeyes up the middle, and Tyleek blows it up. Love can't go anywhere. It's another 3rd and long, and this is exactly where you want to put Notre Dame in 3rd and long. Anyway, the Buckeye makeshift offensive line has really started to round into form, and Notre Dame has to shift theirs on the fly here with just one game to go. So it'll be interesting to see how that holds up. Looks like they got a freshman out there at left tackle right now, and a true sophomore at right guard for those two hurt guys. Left side throw, and picked off! Iggy baited him, 30, 25, 20, and Love makes the tackle. 3rd and 24 is where you want to put Riley Leonard, because he will turn the football over, and he did that time. Thought he had his man deep. That was Faison trying to get behind Iggy. And Davison Igbinosun kind of baits him with that trail coverage. I dare you to try to throw it over my head, and he couldn't. And I can't get called for interference if you throw it right to me, which is what he did there. You see he broke off the route. That was actually Great House that he was covering, not Faison. And now a 1st down inside the red zone. Travion tries to get wide, and he'll lose 3. Nice pursuit that time from Jalen Sneed, the junior linebacker from Hilton Head, South Carolina. Good pursuit there on that play, that backside pressure. Yeah, Wendell, he will go down in history for a long time. Again, they got to finish the job, but much like you, we always remember that Ezekiel Elliott run in the Alabama game, which was actually the semifinal. And then they went on to win the Natty, so it was also good. Option keeper for Howard, and they pick up about 5 yards there. And now a 3rd and 7 coming up. And Notre Dame's defense really needs to try to get a stop here if they can. They do not want to have to try to chase this game. And a quick start for the Buckeyes on offense. A quick start on offense is what they need. Carter, are you watching from class? Put your phone away. I'm home recovering from surgery, but you're probably still in class. Better not be in my wife's class. Touchdown to G. Scott, by the way. And the Notre Dame fans starting to feel a little bit like Tennessee and Oregon fans early in this one. Just too many weapons, and a little toe drag swag to boot for the senior tight end, G. Scott Jr. You just, I see. You just walked into her class. Uh-oh. Don't tell her that you're watching the stream. Carter is a student in Mrs. Nagy Sports' class, and it sounds like he's about to go into her class. You better not get yourself in trouble for watching Nagy Sports. I don't care if it is Friday. All right, 14-0. It's gone about as good as it can go. Again, feels very much like that Tennessee and Oregon games were just quick strike offense. Let's see what Notre Dame can do to respond here, where this thing could get out of hand very quickly. Again, they are not built to throw the ball a bunch of times down the field. Leonard will try this time, and he almost picks it again, and oh gosh! It was tipped by Egbenosin and then right in the breadbasket of Caleb Downs, and he couldn't hold on. Oh my. Everybody just exhaled that time. Whew, boy. Yes, good boy, Carter. See you later, buddy. Hey, it's not me. Mrs. Nagy's house rules is Tuimola will get home for a sack, and now another 3rd and long. And again, if the Buckeyes play clean, the talent is this. This is the talent difference. Ohio State better on paper across the board just about everywhere. I don't think there's an advantage that Notre Dame looks at and feels really, really good about anywhere on the field. Maybe they have a better kicker, I guess. Pressure up the middle, and Hamilton will sack him again at the 2. And poor Riley Leonard, just a sitting duck back there. And they're going to have to punt from their own 2-yard line as Hamilton, his 2nd sack of the day. And again, Riley Leonard not built for a 3rd and 22 passing attack. That is not how they have prepared their roster. So now from very deep in the back of his end zone, he will be able to get the punt away, but the Buckeyes are once again going to get really good field position. Brandon is breaking tackles, 45 near the 40. And Ohio State will have a very short field here. 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. They've scored on their first 2 opening drives. Swing it right side, wide open on a little bubble screen, a little RPO action. And G. Scott with his 3rd catch for G. Scott, and he's got another 1st down. And the passing attack is just so potent. There's the RPO. Nobody over there with G. Scott. Well blocked by Carnell Tate. And then Jordan Clark makes the tackle. Oh, I hope so too. Oh, I would love it to be over by halftime again. Just step on their throats. Left side throw. Buka inside the 15 to the 12. 1st down. Buckeyes in the short red zone now. Under 6 minutes to go here in this first quarter, and they're about ready to triple up this lead here. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia, and they're going to go with some tempo. Why not? Push the tempo a little bit. Don't let them substitute. Travion in the game. He's going to get the football, and he'll be tackled for a loss. Good tackle in space there. That's R.J. Oben, the defensive end. Transfer from Duke coming over with Riley Leonard. You can see him completely unblocked by Josh Fryer, and he just swallows up Travion in the backfield there. It's an important stop for Notre Dame. They need anything positive to go their way right now. It really is, Mike. It really is. Here is a very slow developing play, and shooting in from the backside is Tuliamaka again. And he had blockers, but several guys pulling in another loss. So Ohio State got that 1st down and now has gone backwards twice. And now it's 3rd and 17. Howard on a 3rd and 17. He's got a little bit of pressure. He'll throw it away. Okay, well, they did what they needed to do, I suppose, after giving up that 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. They pushed him back on 2 negative runs, and then they're going to force Jaden Fielding, who I think is the weakest part of the Browns. The Buckeye roster here. 2025 Natty logo right under his feet here. Fielding, I think, maybe even a little bit better in the game than he is in real life, and he drills this field goal. Of course, he did kick a couple against Oregon, which hopefully helps his confidence a little bit moving into it. Yeah, George, you're right. I don't know. I don't remember. How close was the game last year with Michigan? What was it, Michigan and Washington? Is that right? I think I can look it up. I think I can look it up. All right, so if we're in the CFP era, Ohio State won by 22 over Oregon the first year. Alabama beat Clemson by 5. We'll swing it left side to Love, and he's got near a first down. That would be Alabama beat Clemson by 5 and 15. Clemson beat Alabama by 4. Alabama beat Georgia by 3 in overtime. So they were a little bit close early on. Then Clemson beat Alabama 44-16 in 2018. LSU beat Clemson 42-25. Notre Dame or Alabama drilled us 52-24 in 20. Georgia beat Alabama 33-18. Georgia beat TCU 65-7. Gosh, I forgot about that one. Oh, that was ridiculous. That was the game we should have been in. We would have won that game had Fielding been able to, or whoever our kicker was, maybe able to kick. And then Michigan won 34-13 last year over Washington. So, yeah, they were close early, and then we had a couple of blowouts recently. Yeah, like basically since 18, they've all been double-digit wins, and 65-7 notwithstanding. And that's the record, that Georgia team in 2022. Where they had 15 guys drafted, which is a college football record. And I think depending on who comes out for the Buckeyes, I think they can at least tie it. Nice play on defense by Burke. I think they can at least tie it and maybe break it with 15 guys getting drafted off of this team. Just depends on if G. Scott gets drafted. And then there are the three junior question marks are Quinshon, who I think goes, Davison Igbinosun, and Sonny Styles. And I would guess Sonny Styles stays, but maybe he doesn't. Who knows? Igbinosun I could see going either way. But that potentially gives you 18 guys if all three of those juniors go and G. Scott gets drafted. So that would be wild. Nice stop by the Buckeye defense. Sets up a 4th and 1. And yes, I imagine there will be an asterisk, if not just a straight removal, a vacation of that Michigan natty from last year, the notice of allegations. I don't know why they're taking so. The snail's pace that is the NCAA. I can see them basically having to vacate 3 years worth of wins, including the natty, but maybe not. We'll see if they have a spine or not. RPO left side. Dump it off quickly to Emeka Egbuka, and he'll have a catch of 8 yards. Buckeyes leading 17-0 here. Phil Nagy, Nagy on Sports is the channel. Working our way through. We've done the entirety of the college football playoff sim. There's an entire playlist on the channel if you'd like to check out some of the games. Some of them very interesting. And excited to continue to bring this to you. We have simulated. Oh, look at this going back the other direction to Egbuka again. That was a stretch to the left side and then a quick RPO back to the other side. How does Will Howard see that Egbuka is open? I'm not sure, but he completes it. And already 5 catches for 7 yards. He's halfway through that handoff. Nice block again by Carnell Tate to free up Emeka Egbuka. First down, Buckeyes. Will Howard. Motion coming from the sensational freshman whose name we haven't called yet. There he is across the middle. Here's Smith. First down. Took a 5-yard play and took it for 11 for Jeremiah Smith. Again, Texas decided to triple team him. He had 1 catch for 3 yards. Good on them. They still lost by 14 points. Hey, Gamer Sipe, welcome in. Go Browns. Hope you're enjoying beautiful Florida. Yeah, I agree, Mike. When you play the game, G. Scott is open a lot. The tight ends in general are open a lot, especially in this offense with so many weapons. And I think that could be a real thing for the Buckeyes, too, that G. Scott is kind of the forgotten weapon. Remember, he started that game against Oregon with the big game, or with the big gainer in that first play of the game. Trickling down towards the end of the first quarter here. Do appreciate everybody being on. Howard firing back, and he'll fire it out of bounds. we will go through the offseason, much like we do with Browns. We will have a Buckeye off-season sim. The new guys, the new recruits have been loaded in. I picked up a couple of transfers. I tried to get all the same transfers. It's actually a little bit more difficult than you think. Even though it's like, hey, we just won the national championship or whatever. You know, we're a really good team. Come play here. Howard over the middle. That's a dart and a first down. Egbuka again. And that's how the first quarter is going to come to a close. Emeka Egbuka. He is the MVP of the first quarter in this one. Buckeyes 17, Notre Dame 0 here. College football national championship. So far, so good for the Scarlet and Gray. Look at that. 9 yards of offense so far for the Irish. -1 rushing yard is not something that they can afford to do. Hey, Tuart, welcome in. That's okay. You can start from the beginning, or you can catch back up later. Long developing run play. And yeah, you're right, Mike. Some of these run plays do develop really slowly. Although in the game's defense, some of the Chip Kelly running or the Ryan Day running does take a long time to develop if it's not blocked up super well. But the Buckeyes have had a hard time running. Fortunately, Will Howard has been on point here in this one. Yeah, if he falls down in the open, wide open again, and Henderson will get back to the line of scrimmage. If he falls down in the open space again, he'll never hear the end of it. Of course, if he's a national champion, it won't really matter. But anyway, we have gone through. Again, I tried to go in and force the guys that the Buckeyes picked up in the transfer portal. Most notably, C.J. Donaldson, who's going to be probably their starting running back next year. And he like locked us out. He didn't want to come here for whatever reason. Left side throw right away to Egbuka again inside the 10. First and goal, and Egbuka's over 100 yards receiving in the first 16 and a half minutes of the game. What a performance for this senior, Emeka Egbuka, putting the team on his shoulders. He and so many of his classmates came back for this game, for this day, and he is balling out right now. Motion across the middle. Howard now gives it. Nope, option keeper. He'll try to follow a pulling Josh Fryer, but he doesn't wait for him. He gets in front of the pulling tackle. That's the right tackle, Josh Fryer, who's pulling over. And Howard got past him, and that's why he was tackled prematurely. If he just is patient there, I think he follows him right into the end zone here. Must be the Notre Dame band. I don't think the Ohio State band plays Mars like that. Here comes Quinshawn, left side, touchdown, Buckeyes! And Notre Dame is in trouble now, friends. 24-0. And they haven't mustered yet 10 yards of offense total. Just been a lockdown on both sides of the ledger right now, as Quinshawn beats Xavier Watts into the end zone, their defensive leader. Number 0, Xavier Watts. Whew, okay. Fielding's kick is up. Fielding's kick is good. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, if we can get pressure with 4, Mike, I mean, Knowles certainly can dial it up. I mean, Sonny can blitz. Hicks can blitz. Cody Simon has been really good at blitzing this year. Obviously, we know Caleb Downs, Jordan Hancock. Like, he'll blitz them from anywhere. I'm just not sure they're going to need it. Again, I think the game script for Ohio State is get the lead and then try to make Riley Leonard's arm beat you, because again, they want to run they have to run the football. Not only with this man, Jeremiah Love, but with Riley Leonard as well. And I think we're going to get holding to boot as well, and we are. And it is just not going well right now for the Golden Domers. And that's Sam Pendleton, the left guard, and they'll back him up. 1st and 18. Up the middle, gets a couple, maybe one, and then Sonny Styles is right there. Gamers, we've talked a little bit about it in some previous sims for our Browns in terms of the draft. In fact, on the channel, I've done 3 different versions of a Browns offseason already. And you guys can go back and vote on those if you want to, as Love will get a nice run and gets all the way up. Gets a gain of 16 for Jeremiah Love on a 2nd and 17. And now all of a sudden, their most explosive play of the game. And let's see if the Buckeyes can try to get him off the field. Where I've sort of talked about a few of the guys. I am very much out on a quarterback at 2 right now. I mean, again, I haven't watched extensive tape of Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Love won't get it. How about Hancock? Jordan Hancock blows up the A-gap. And how about your nickelback coming in here and putting his head down and shutting down Jeremiah Love? And I would assume Freeman's going to punt again. From inside his own 30, he will on a 4th and inches. What a tackle by Jordan Hancock in space. Punting away, here's Brandon Innes from his own 30. So, I am out on a QB at 2. I do think you have a lot of holes, and I think that this is a draft where, sure, there is some really talented high-end talent at 1, 2, 3, 4. Howard's going to go deep shot, left side, behind everybody, Smith! Oh, just rub a little salt in the wound! Jeremiah Smith! A go ball down the left sideline. Freshman Leonard Moore trying to stay with freshman Jeremiah Smith. And you can't stop this kid. You can only hope to contain him. Will saw it right away, started salivating. And Smith just got 3 yards past him, and Moore had no chance. Moore's one of the best young corners in the game. And Smith just beat him right off the line, and it's now 31-0. And that might be it. Like, that could be the game. Yeah, the Golden Dome of Sadness right now. With 10:41 to go in the second quarter. One play, 69 yards. Pay dirt there. Hey, David, welcome on. That's right, the melancholy. Love it. So, sorry, I keep trying to finish my thought, and then the Buckeyes do something incredible in the sim. So for me, I'm out on QB at 2 for right now. I could potentially, if I listened to somebody who understood a new football better than I did, like let's say Jake Burns came out with the video perhaps, who said, I really love Cam Ward for the Kevin Stefanski offense, and here's why, or whatever. You never know how much of the smoke is real with Shedeur and Dion letting his kid come here or not let his kid come here, whatever. I think my ideal situation is that the Giants get really QB hungry, or that the Raiders have expressed interest in Shedeur a lot. They're at 6 maybe, the Raiders are 6 or 7. So I think my perfect world is that we drop back a few picks, we pick up an additional first-round pick later, we pick up an additional second-round pick so that we can take like 3 of the top 35 guys. Because this is a deep draft, but not a super top-heavy draft. And then, yeah, I'm in on Mason Graham, I'm in on Abdul Carter, I'm in on Will Campbell, I'm in on Kelvin Banks maybe, the left tackle from Texas. He and Cam are kind of the 2 best left tackles in the game. Or if you think DeWand is ready to go at left tackle, you can take a right tackle. There are not any like super elite receivers like Marvin Harrison Jr. Or Malik Neighbors guys in this draft. There are some good players. Tetaroa McMillan from Arizona is kind of the top. Egbuka is probably right there in the second. Luther Burden, a couple others. Option keeper from Howard here. Up the middle. So I would go best available offense or defensive line at 2 if I have to stay there, or at 4 or at 6 or whatever I can trade back to. And then I'm just trying to draft good football players because I got a lot of holes to fill. Frankly, and I know I'm a homer, I know I'm a Buckeye homer, but this feels like a great year to draft as many Buckeyes as you can. I mean, I would take Jack Sawyer on our team, I would take Tyleik Williams, I would take Henderson, I would take Egbuka, I would take Quinshawn, I would take Will Howard, I would take Tyleik Williams, I would take Seth McLaughlin, I would take Donovan Jackson, I would take Josh Simmons. I mean, they're obviously not going to take all of those guys, but any of those guys I would be okay with being on our team. Because they're winners, they're good football players, they're incredible young men, they understand what it is to grind. They've lived a very professional-like football season so far this year, and they've done it with grace. with the highs and the lows that come with the season. Here's Travion up the middle, and he'll bury his head for 11, first down, Buckeyes. But other than that, I think you try to acquire as many extra pieces as you can, because you're not going to try to just flip it all in 1 year. Now, that being said, if we find out that they're going full rebuild prior, meaning they trade Myles Garrett, for instance, or David Njoku or Denzel Ward, they get multiple first rounders or something, and they're like, okay, we're all in on rebuilding it, then sure, you want to go Cam Ward, you want to go Shedeur Sanders at 2 and ride with one of those guys, knock yourselves out. I don't think there's that huge of a difference between Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and let's say Jackson Dart or Will Howard, who you can probably get in the 3rd or the 4th round. Curtis Rourke from Indiana is going to be there in the middle. Dylan Gabriel, accurate passer, is going to be there in the middle. Jalen Milroe, I mean, his last performance against Michigan was awful, but he's going to be there in the middle. And oh, by the way, your new offensive coordinator was his offensive coordinator and quarterback coach 2 years ago in Tommy Rees, so he knows Milroe better than most. I don't think you're going to have to take any of those guys in the first round. So I just don't think there's that big of a difference. Left side throw, Tate is wide open. Those RPOs so effective for Ohio State. Another first down inside the red zone for the Buckeyes, who are moving in for the kill shot now if it's not already out of reach. Good to have you in, 1985. So that's kind of option 2, is that you don't necessarily draft a quarterback. Oh, and now they're going to throw one in the interception in the end zone. Watch out, Moore. He might go all the way. And just like that, they'll flip the script. Freshman Leonard Moore all the way, 102 yards. Not why they're sure they're saying 98 yards. He was definitely in the end zone. But Notre Dame needed it in the worst way, and Will Howard delivered. On the way to going up 38-0, Howard forces one in there on the right side. And Tate was falling to the ground. And Leonard Moore, the true freshman from Round Rock, Texas, picks that thing off. And Notre Dame has a pulse here in Georgia. Oh, my. Yes, Mike, the obligatory Howard interception. Anyway, so I definitely think there is an option for them to go with more of a veteran guy and then draft somebody like we just talked about more in the middle of the rounds. Basically like a DTR replacement. So whether that's Will Howard or Jackson Dart or Curtis Rourke or Dylan Gabriel or something like that. I could definitely see some. Quinn Ewers is declared for the draft. I don't think he's ready to be an NFL starter, but I think he's probably a little better than DTR is right now. So yeah, that's kind of that next option, that second option. Throw it right side into traffic again, and now it looks like Will Howard's gotten a little greedy with his choices right now, up 31-7. One of those options would be Justin Fields. Technically Russell Wilson, both of them are free agents. You know, do you find a way to bring Kirk Cousins in? What's the Sam Darnold situation? I think Sam Darnold lost himself some money the last 2 weeks of the season because he looked bad. The Vikings fizzled very quickly over the middle. Jelani Thurman with a nice first down. And that maybe rights the ship for the Buckeyes. I mean, Derek Carr could potentially be had. You know, it's just not. I mean, Jameis Winston coming back is an option. There's just not a lot of great choices. Daniel Jones, some people have mentioned, like, got some decent physical skills. Maybe Stefanski can fix Daniel Jones. So I don't know. There are a lot of ways they can do it, and I guess the good part is what we'll know is when the league year starts in March, they're going to make these decisions. You know what I mean? They signed Kirk Cousins. I guess that means they're probably not drafting a quarterback at 2. You know, they traded Myles Garrett for 4 first-round picks. I guess they're probably going to take a quarterback at 2 and start the rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, we'll have a lot of the answers to the test. I think even before the draft, based on the decisions that they make. My assumption is they're not fully ready to embrace the tank, as here's another quick little smoke screen RPO. And Tate's got a first down. We're under 4 minutes to go in half number 1, 31-7. Again, courtesy of that Will Howard 102-yard pick 6 from Leonard Moore. Buckeyes with a 31-7 lead, but all the touchdown passes belong to Will Howard. Left side throw, wide open, Smith, can he break a tackle? No, he can't. Tackled out of bounds to the 35. So anyway, I'm intrigued by Travis Hunter. I am. I think he's obviously a great story. I think he's obviously an incredible athlete. I do not think that playing both ways in the NFL is feasible, nor would the union probably want you to do that. The scouts are saying that he's probably like a day one lockdown corner who maybe returns your punts and kicks and maybe gets 8 to 10 offensive snaps a game. Kind of as a trick play specialist or just a package or something for him. And not that I'm opposed to that, but I just feel like we have bigger holes on the roster than cornerback right now. Not sure what they're going to do with Newsome just yet. I think Emerson has a bounce back. Cam Mitchell's shown some signs of life, and obviously Denzel as well. So same thing with like Will Johnson from Michigan. Considered maybe the best pure prospect in the draft. It's just not a spot that we need as much as other spots that we need right now. And I guess gamers don't understand what you mean by do we really want to pick up another Watson here. I don't think, did one of those free agent quarterbacks I named fit into that mold? Second hand shot. 2nd and 5 for Howard. Right side end zone. Knocked away. Jordan Clark swatted it out of Tate's hands. Buckeyes want more points here before halftime, though. Wendell, I'm pretty sure that they are actually talking. I mean, I know that they have confirmed that they have talked about it, and that I think Jerry would love to have Dion there. I'm not sure Dion wants to coach in the pros, by the way. Here's Howard sliding all the way down to the 4. 1st and goal under 2 minutes. I'm not sure Dion wants to leave Boulder. You don't get to kind of be in charge of as much stuff as you do in college when you're in the pros. And you obviously can't guarantee that your kids come and play for you like they basically have while he's been in college. If anything, I think it's probably just a play to get more money out of Colorado. Left side throw over the middle, dropped. And now an injury to Luke Montgomery, who's already in for technically Donovan Jackson. So now Sieverfeld comes into the game. 2nd and goal from the 4. They'll spread it out 5 wide. Howard. Left side throw, knocked away again, forcing it into windows now. Howard's become pretty inaccurate here in the last half a quarter. A little rattled since that pick 6. Of course, 2 Buckeyes running to the same spot in the end zone probably doesn't help that either. And yes, Pittsburgh may resign Fields. Left side throw again, and Smith doesn't even have his back turned. That was an undesirable red zone sequence there for the Buckeyes on offense. Again, fundamentally it may not matter, but sure wish you could do something more than a chip shot field goal with $1:18 to go in the quarter. Still, their lead is strong and growing. 34-7 here after Fielding pops it through. It is the 2024 College Football Playoff National Championship right on cue. There's the graphic. Phil Nagy on Sports is the channel. Only place you're going to find simulated sporting events with live original commentary. I do appreciate all 1,134 of my subscribers. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, very much appreciate that. And also make sure you hit this thumbs up button, which continues to grow the college football audience. We've been simming games on Madden for years, but obviously this is year number 1 with the new college football game, which we're very excited about it. Again, during the off season when football is not being played is where the channel is usually even the most fun. We get to play a little make-believe, a little pretend, and I will simulate the 2025 Ohio State football season with all the new players. Julian Sayin commanding a bunch of young but talented players for Ohio State. Leonard throws it, and it's caught. Nope, couldn't hold on to it. Nice play by Caleb Downs. He's coming back. That's always nice. Also, our Browns offseason is poised and ready to go. Just need to get these current NFL playoffs wrapped up. I'll bring you both the AFC and NFC championship games next week. We'll send the Super Bowl as we always do, and then it'll be right into Browns offseason. There are 3 roster options. I have videos up for all 3. You can vote on which one you would like to see the sim of. A total rebuild where we trade pretty much everybody, including Miles, Denzel, Njoku, Chubb, etc. And we drafted a whole bunch of guys. To do that, I think we had 5 first-rounders, 7 second-rounders, and 5 third-rounders in that draft class because I couldn't do future picks. Option keeper and Leonard's going to be sacked. I'm not sure what they're doing there. Option keeper on 3rd and 10 fools nobody. So a lot of blow up. That's technically option 3. A medium amount of blow up, which is trading some guys, getting rid of some guys, getting a few extra assets, but keeping the core pieces, mainly Miles, Chief, Ward, and Chubb. Obviously, Delpit, JOK, the young stars as well. DeJuan Jones, Mike Hall, those guys made the roster in every version of it. And then option number 1 was a very, very small amount of rebuild, which is just basically, hey, we think our roster is pretty good. We just wish we had a decent quarterback. And so they ended up signing Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins will lead that roster. So, yeah, Wendell, I think we could probably do one. Throw it right side, got behind him, Tay dropped it in a bucket, timeout Buckeyes. If you catch, that is one thing I'll say about this game, having played a bunch of it myself on my own and having watched a couple of seasons worth of sims now, is if you get behind the defense on either side on those go routes, like it's like a deep touchdown 8 out of 10 times. You just read those safeties, and if they shift over and give one guy a single coverage or whatever, or you find that spot in the cover 2, like there are a lot of times where it's like, how did this guy get 486 yards passing? You're like, oh, 3 of them were on 80-plus yard touchdowns. Left side throw like this, touchdown Smith! Just found the right coverage, and he beat it. 2 first-half touchdowns. I'm going to rock you to sleep like a baby, says Jeremiah. He's coming back. That's pretty exciting. And Columbus, of course, local radio, we've been hearing he just signed maybe the biggest ever. I don't think the number has come out yet, but he signed basically like the I'm going to make millions in the NFL life insurance policy, so that if he has some sort of debilitating injury, I think what's he getting, 25 to 30 million bucks. So that's pretty cool. Will Anderson and Bryce Young were the most recent ones to do that, and that's with a company that does it for very few players. So he is already considered. And I mean, there's people that are saying that if he was coming out in this year's draft as a freshman, he'd be the top 5 pick. So he's just different. 41-7. And I'm glad he's on our team and he's not going anywhere. Nobody's going to be able to buy him off our roster. We have too much spending power. It will be interesting to see, though, again, people who are much smarter than I am about these things. And it looks like Notre Dame's just content to get this thing to halftime. 41-7. It has been all Buckeyes in this one. Ohio State, Colorado sim, huh? Yeah, maybe. Maybe we could do something like that. How about Smith's day so far? 6 catches, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think he was a little upset about being triple covered for 3 yards against Texas. 41-7. Bad for the channel, fun for the Ohio State fans. 30 minutes away from raising the trophy that they covet and that they all came back for. My name is Phil Nagy. Channel is Nagy on Sports. Appreciate you being on. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe or you got yourself some sort of new Gmail internet account, you can subscribe from any and all of them. I really appreciate it. Clap the hands, give it to Travion, right side to the 20, and that's about where he will go down. Jack Kaiser, the senior linebacker, making the tackle there. Royal Center, Indiana, Pioneer High School. Jack Kaiser, 6'2", 231-pound graduate student senior, manning the middle of the Notre Dame defense. A lot of tight ends into the game now. Yeah, 65-7 was crazy. Let's see if they can beat it. Exactly. How about them apples? Anyways, there's going to be sacked here by Snead. Others have theorized, and is this going to be kind of an official turning of the tides here? the SEC losing a little bit of its luster and a little bit of its dominance in the South. And I guess I hadn't heard it put so plainly. Oh no, here we go. I just talked about it. It's going to be a hat trick for Smith as he gets past Moore again. And he has beat up on the freshman all day, and he's going to hit the gritty in the end zone. Jeremiah Smith, have a day, young man. It was Igbuka's quarter in the first quarter, and now Jeremiah. And Ohio State is headed for 65-7. You're right. Just got past him again. I talked about it in that second quarter. That play is unbeatable if you find the right coverage, and right now Notre Dame is playing the wrong coverage against it. Crazy, crazy, crazy indeed. Anyway, gosh, I'm not even able to finish any of my points before Ohio State does something crazy. But anyway, now that paying players is legal everywhere, and not just the teams in the South are doing it illegally or cheating better, as they would have said. Everybody cheats, we just cheat better. Now that everybody can pay players, everything is evened out, and the teams in the North, for the most part, have access to more money. I heard Bo Bishop talking about it on our local radio. He does a local hour here before he does the Cleveland Browns Daily Show. He does 3 hours in the mornings here in Columbus, and he was talking about how you can trace this all the way back to the Civil War. Like, the North won the war because manufacturing and tech bases make more money than agricultural bases, and the money in the South is still primarily agriculture, and the money in the North is manufacturing and tech jobs, which seems like watering it down too much to me. But with the rare exception of some Texas oil money, like, the teams in the North just have more to spend. I mean, look at Michigan for an example. They have the CEO of Oracle on their alumni books, and he basically gives them a blank check to go sign the #1 quarterback on the planet this year, and he steals them. He had been committed to LSU for a long time, and then he didn't. He has like interviews saying he's from Michigan. He says he has interviews where he's like, I don't want to play for Michigan. But then all of a sudden, $12.5 million later, he's very happy to be playing for Michigan. So it'll just be interesting to see if this continues, where the Southern schools continue to sort of sink back towards irrelevancy, and whether or not they can keep up in the arms race. Look at Oregon. Oregon's outspending everybody right now. Notre Dame, Penn State, like Michigan, these teams can spend money. So yeah, it'll be curious to see what happens. Do I think Georgia will still be okay and pretty good? Yeah. Do I think Alabama can survive? Maybe. Texas feels like they're in a pretty good spot again. Texas A&M has all the oil money, so they seem like they've been buying good recruiting classes for years, but haven't been able to figure out how to put it together. So yeah, Seattle, very, very wealthy town for Washington to utilize. Obviously UCLA, USC, those teams have money to spend, so it's just a very interesting idea that I had not thought of. And it's been a long time since I took high school American history class. I had forgotten that in most cases money wins wars, and the North just had more of it than the South in the Civil War in this country. And so it makes perfect sense in the same way that those bases, the roots of those things are still here. And so, yeah, in the arms race that is college football, the North might be the superpower moving forward. Certainly will be curious to watch moving forward. Okay, Mike inviting everybody out. When's the home opener, Mike? March something? Cruise season starting. Maybe a little cruise. I don't know. I want to keep writing. I don't want my mouth to keep writing checks that my time and schedule can't cash, but some crew sims could be kind of fun. Mike, you're a big crew guy, right? Are they going to be able to re-sign Cucho? Isn't that like the big off-season decision? Is Cucho coming back? Because he's so important to their team. February 25th, you think? Okay. Well, yeah, remind me when we get closer to it, and we'll definitely put something else out and kind of give everybody a lay of the land where your spot is down there. Cucho isn't going anywhere. Nobody can aggressive him. He wants $23 million. I don't know what that means. You're saying that he is signed under contract and he wants that much money and nobody can give him that except for us, or nobody will give him that. Hey, Dwayne, welcome in. Good to have you on. Go Browns. Here comes Love to the left side. Yeah, that's a nice run. So Jeremiah Love's had a couple of nice runs. But again, too little and way, way too late. That is the crux of Notre Dame's offense, is their ability to run the football. Okay, so he's under contract for this year. Got it. So he was hoping that somebody would buy him out for $23 million, is what you're saying? North off behind the stadium. Opens at 2 for 6:30 games. Okay. Love it. Oof, blown up in the backfield again. Ty Hamilton, rather. Having a very good game. All the offensive linemen are yelling at Riley Leonard. What are you doing? What's happening, Richard? Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that very much for that information there, Mike. JRM, welcome on. They had a very uncharacteristically horrible performance against Michigan this year with a piss-poor offensive game plan and a quarterback with a concussion who wasn't very good. And yes, they did lose that game, but I think we've all seen since then that they are still the most talented team in the country, offensively and defensively. And I don't think it'll quite be this bad, but I could definitely see a multi-score Ohio State win on Friday. And then, yes, Michigan will be able to say, hey, we beat the champs. And that is definitely something that Ryan Day has to get over a mental block about. We've talked about that in length in previous Sims, that somehow Jim Harbaugh's words have hurt him so deeply that he's like, Ryan Day isn't tough, and so he feels like he has to try to out-bulldozer Michigan in Michigan games just to prove to something that he's tough. It's like, bro, you're a Ferrari. Just let the Ferrari go. That's what I would say if I had Ryan Day here in a room. But ultimately, he could be laughing last here by probably about midnight Tuesday morning, late Monday night. As he hoists that trophy, it'll all be worth it. And again, I would also go so far as to say that the Michigan loss was maybe the best thing that could have happened to Ohio State to help them get refocused, help Ryan Day to get out of the way of Chip Kelly on offense, go back to what brought you here, which is explosive plays, utilizing your skill players, letting Will Howard dice up defenses, rather than just smashing Quinshon Judkins up the middle into 2 all-pro defensive tackles for 17 plays, which again just absolutely flabbergasted me and everybody else. And it's a fair question, but fundamentally, if they win on Monday, nobody's going to care. Option keeper for Howard, 30-35, and he's got the first down. But we appreciate you being on. And by the tenor of your conversation, I will assume you're a Michigan fan, so we appreciate you joining us here. Yeah, Schulte's the real deal. Is he the number 1 goalie for Team USA now, or is he? He's got to be like the number 1 guy, right? Because Tim Howard's done, and I'm blanking out on the guy who kind of started there for a little bit in between Tim Howard, Matt something, I don't remember. Carter back again. Class must be over. Quinshon, left side run. Big gainer, 17. 50, 30, 45. Going the other way. I don't know what yard line he's on. All the way to the 31. Quinshon Judkins, 48-10. Do you like the new coach for Team USA, Mike? Maurizio? He seems like he's a better option than we had with Greg. Early onset rigor mortis. Oh boy. First and 10. He'll be sacked. I think the biggest thing about that Ohio State-Michigan game for this year that nobody wants to talk about is that Will Howard had a concussion. Remember, he got dinged in the head. They took him out. A play later, he came back in, and then there's actually a second. You have to watch the replay, like the close-up of the replay. He did like a quarterback sneak, and he got drilled in the head again, and he was not the same the whole rest of the game. So that's on coaching for seeing that Will Howard's not right, first off. Second off, yes, somewhere, this stat of the day business or whatever, like somebody put on his desk, the teams that have won the last 8 Ohio State-Michigan games have won the rushing battle. And instead of viewing that as a description, he chose to count that as a prescription, meaning if we win, we must run, rather than when we will have won, it will, like, the running stats will have supported us. Like, so I just don't understand. It was very much out of character, and very much like listen, we have to run because that's the only way you can win in this game. When it's like, bro, how about just the teams that are winning run the ball at the end? Like, think about the last couple of years where, like, Donovan Edwards springs an 80-yarder to ice it or something like that. Like, that just means they had more yards than us. That's not how you have to win the game. It's just a reflective stat of the winners, anecdotal at best. And he went and said, we have to run because that's the only way to win, which just seems crazy to me. So that plus the concussion, I'm certainly willing to give him another shot, and they'll certainly have that next year. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the Ohio State-Michigan, going back to your comment, Michigan, but I appreciate you being on with us, JRM 0979. Phil Nagy on Sports is the channel here. We're under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ohio State pressing on the gas pedal once again. 3rd and 5 coming up. They're up 48-10. It was 24-0 early, 31-0, and then Will Howard threw a pick 6. So the only touchdown of the day for the Fighting Irish is actually a 100-yard pick 6 from their freshman sensation, Leonard Moore. 3rd and 5. They're going to spread them out wide. Howard. And now he'll take off to the 10, to the 5, to the 3, to the 2, and he'll be short of it. They'll say forward progress to the 4, where Jack Kaiser brings him down. So 4th and 2, and I would assume that we will see Monsieur Fielding. So we trickle down towards the 4. They're going to go for it. Why not? 4th and 2. Hey, Green Man, welcome in. Good to have you on. Coach Day all the way, indeed. Here's a 4th and 2. They're going to go for it. Howard in trouble. End zone. Caught by Jeremiah Smith with a flag on the play. And it's going to be pass interference on the defense for fun. That is 4 touchdowns now for Jeremiah Smith, and some of the student section have taken their shirts off. It's celebration here in hot Atlanta. And it's going to be a Buckeye party in downtown tonight. 11 plays, 78 yards, took 6 minutes off the clock, just chugging and churning. And I think we might be ready for some backups here. Could be Devin Brown time in the Natty. They did Wendell. Hey, Mason, welcome in. Yep, I think it's definitely possible. As we mentioned early on when they first released the bracket, it was going to be Murderer's Row to get to the championship, but I think the easiest game that the Buckeyes have is this one. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to take anybody for granted. You're not taking anybody lightly for sure, but there are no position groups that scare me. The way that Texas's secondary scared me a little bit. The way that the speed of the receivers could potentially challenge Denzel and Igbinosun for Texas, but certainly Oregon, and even the running game of Tennessee with Nico Iamaleava, who's one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm trying not to be overly confident. They obviously still got to show up and play their game, and unlike the Texas game, they cannot have silly penalties and drops and different things to keep Notre Dame in the game. But Notre Dame has to run the ball to win. We've been very difficult to run against, and Riley Leonard is not just going to sit back there and sling it 50 times and bring your team back. So you get a couple score lead, Notre Dame's going to be in trouble. Notre Dame needs to keep it close, run the ball, keep it close, and then let you try to make a mistake late. which is exactly what they did to Penn State. Remember, Drew Aller threw that interception very, very late in the game, and they came back and won it at the very end. So that's how they have to win. They have to win dirty. They have to win ugly. Picked off over the middle. Sonny Styles. Cody Simon. I thought it was a 6. It's a 0. And Cody Simon, how much money has he made for himself this year? I think probably coming into the season, he may have been listed as an undrafted rookie free agent. You could definitely see him working himself into a day 2 draft pick. That would be 2nd or 3rd round. He is instinctual. He is athletic. He'll pop you. He can play the run. He can play the pass. And now the Buckeyes putting some pressure on that Georgia TCU score with potentially trying to set some records of their own. Yeah, well, I've heard a little bit about that, Green. Yes, we have SEC refs in the national championship, and in general, they're flag happy. I think they said that SEC refs have thrown 128 more flags than, let's say, Big Ten refs have this season. So I'm a little bit nervous about that myself. We have seen in the past that especially early in games, referees make some very questionable calls against Ohio State to try to keep the opponent in it. And so I'm a little worried about that. Of course, we know Ohio State won't get a holding call called against them when we are rushing the passer. We are still waiting. Jack Sawyer has not been had holding called against him since 2021, if you believe that. Over the middle, Tate falls down at the 9. But yes, that is certainly a factor. Disappointingly fun game, says David. And yes, go Cavs. A little bit of a blip last night, ice cold, couldn't do anything, I get that. It was kind of the Super Bowl for OKC based on how we beat them a week ago, so they'll be good, they'll be fine. Appreciate you being on, David. Green Man, thanks for being on. Hope you're doing well. 2nd and 7, option keeper for Howard. And he'll run into Ray Cross the 3rd. Or excuse me, Howard Cross the 3rd. 3rd and 9 for the Buckeyes here. As Cross beats Chibola that time. Tegra, the right guard for Ohio State. Under 13 to play here, trickling down towards raising the trophy. We'll keep it all the way through the end with you again. Phil Nagy on Sports is the channel. End zone. Uh-oh, there's that interception number 2, and he tried to go to Smith one more time, and that's the 2nd pick of the day for Notre Dame's true freshman, Leonard Moore. So Will Howard, despite his excellence in this game, 2 interceptions in the red zone. It could actually be worse than it is now. And Hamilton with another sack. That's 3 for him. Big senior defensive tackle playing in his last game as a Buckeye. So Will Howard really is, he's kept, in it is the wrong word because they're not in it, but if they had scored on both of those things, you take away the 3, you take away 7, it would be, he's going to give it right back. This time it's Sonny Styles to the 20, to the 15, to 10, 5. Styles shoved out of bounds at the 6-yard line as Riley Leonard gives it right back now. The Buckeyes have a 1st and goal here. Never let that team get the ball. Okay. Quinshawn, wide zone look to the 3, to the 4, they'll say. Again, I will be bringing you during the spring and off-season Ohio State sim season. That'll be fun, leading us up into the release of the new game, of course, sometime in the summer. New recruiting class is locked and loaded. Got the new players in there as best I can. Got some transfer portal guys. Some of them are real, some of them are not, but they were in the transfer portal, and I got them. So we're going to take them. Here's Howard, left side. Will Howard, nowhere to go. Relying too much on your legs there, buddy. Just hand the ball off and run. Getting in there in a hurry is the linebacker. Kingston, Viliamuasa. Howard, end zone, touchdown, G. Scott. There's the 60-burger. So they're trying. Again, 65-7 is what Georgia beat TCU by. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine? If we even got close to that, what if it was 50? What if it was even 40? I'm ready to make my pick. Notre Dame wins by 7. I mean, it's possible. Again, anything's possible. It's the beauty of it. Just ask the SEC. If you played all the games on paper, they're undefeated. They're undefeated in hypothetical games. Just ask them. Well, we would beat them in this. We would beat them in this. We would beat them in this. They'll just tell you. The SEC loves winning hypothetical football games. So yes, hypothetically and obviously this is a computer game. It doesn't mean a single darn thing, but it is reflective of the fact that OSU has tons of talent on either sides of the ball, and it is reflective because I subbed them out. The fact that the left tackle and the right guard are out for Notre Dame. Leonard actually higher rated in the game than Will Howard is, if you believe that. He's at 89 and Howard's at 87. But he has struggled here today, and so have the Fighting Irish. Alabama was robbed. I don't know. I was willing to get on board with that, and then I watched them just absolutely go and crap the bed against Michigan in their bowl game. And I was like, oh, this team does not deserve to be there. If they would have stomped Michigan. But, like, offensively, they were awful. And all those people who thought Jalen Milroe was a first-round talent, like, are we watching the same quarterback? This guy is not good. Athletic, sure, but he's not a good quarterback. I can't get on board with that. 40 would be fun. Just imagine if it was 40 to single digits. Like, and from the beginning, this year has felt a lot like 2014 for varying reasons. And remember that the toughest game that the Buckeyes played in that playoff was the semifinal against Alabama, and then they rolled Oregon in the national championship by 3 scores. So I don't know, I can see it going that way, like it did with Oregon this year, like it did with Tennessee this year. I could also see it being a little bit close. Again, Notre Dame is pesky. They're going to stick around. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to make you play mistake-free football. And if Ohio State chooses, like in this game, a couple of interceptions in the end zone from Will Howard. If that happens in real life, we cannot assume that they're going to have 62 points to fall back on their own. Yeah, you're right, Green Man. That was what did it for me, too. Oklahoma absolutely embarrassed them. And again, you never want to be the one to replace the legend. I get that. I think Kalen DeBoer is a good coach, but I don't think anybody should expect them to become Alabama under Nick Saban, that he had that run. I don't think anybody's going to be that dominant anymore. There's just too much talent. It's too spread out. There's too much money. These guys aren't going to be going, these 5-star guys aren't going to be willing to go sit behind other 5-star guys for 2 or 3 years and then get their turn to play for Alabama. We've already seen it. We've got 2 of them on our team, Seth McLaughlin, and 3 of them on our team, Seth McLaughlin, Julian Sain, and Caleb Downs. And Caleb Downs didn't even sit. Caleb Downs was a star for them. It's like, I'm going to go get more money to go to Ohio State, more opportunities, and Nick Saban's gone. And we're awfully glad that he did. Seth McLaughlin won the Remington Trophy as best center, so that helped us out too. And we'll see, but Julian Sain, the #1 recruit in the country from last year as a quarterback, opportunity to take over the reins as a youngster next year for a young but talented Ohio State team. And we'll see what that team looks like. Again, stay tuned to the channel. In the spring, we will be starting our off-season Ohio State sim, taking you through 1 week of the season at a time. Of course, a big Arch Manning Texas matchup to start the season. It'll be pretty fun as Texas comes up to Columbus on August 30th, I think, maybe. Under 7 to play here. This game, because of all the scoring, has taken forever. I do apologize. I like to try to keep my sims to about an hour in length. We are over an hour, of course, already. But that's okay, because it's 62-10 and the good guys are up. Appreciate everybody being on again. Phil Nagy. Nagy on Sports is the channel, only place you're going to find simulated sporting events of many and varying varieties with a live original commentary. Oh, blitz coming, but Leonard gets out of it, and now he'll take off left side, 4th and 1, and he still stopped short by Styles. Why are the starters still in the game? That's what I want to know. take him out. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Nobody's going to get hurt for the rest of the season at this point. But the starters are all still in the game, which would not be happening if it was 62-10. David, that's a pretty good one. What if it was me? At least they're in shoe clock mode now, snapping this thing with 5 seconds. Quinchon will try to go wide right, and Drake Bowen is waiting for him off tackle. 3rd and 3 for the Buckeyes. 5 minutes away now from hoisting it. All that's left is just to do it now. Buckeyes are going to win the national championship. Will it hold up on Monday night? We'll have to find out, of course, in real life. Do appreciate everybody being on. Thanks so much to all of my subscribers. Again, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe, we'd appreciate that. Again, off-season Buckeye football coming, off-season Browns football coming. The off-season is actually the best and most fun time for Nagy on Sports because it's all pretend and we can make it up. We don't have to stick to any reality. We can just see what the video games will do for us, which is wild to think about, but it's a lot of fun. Do appreciate everybody joining me here for this one. It's been all Buckeyes since the jump. They're going to win the national championship game, which would be awesome to see. I'm not sure if I could switch teams or not. Technically, I started the game as Notre Dame. So I'm not sure if I can change Ohio State's roster or not. 10 catches for a cool 249 for Jeremiah Smith in the game. Just a little dig route. Starter's still in for Notre Dame, too, for whatever that's worth. Henderson up the middle. 1st down. Keep on ticking. Those should be the exact jerseys that we're wearing. We're wearing that. They call it the heritage stripe on the sleeve. Again, Notre Dame technically is the home team as a higher seed. I think they're 6, right? We're 8. So it'll be seeing a very interesting college football playoff this time around. And I'm sure there will be some changes to it. I think the first thing has to be that your conference championship automatically qualifies you, sure, but does not automatically give you one of those top 4 seeds. There is no way that Boise State should have had a top 4 seed. Etc. Trying to go wide with it, can't go wide. Ohio State, for instance, I think was ranked 6th, but they were given the 8th seed. It should have been the 6th seed, and ultimately who got screwed by that the most was Oregon, who had the undefeated number 1 seed, and then they had to play the buzzsaw that is Ohio State right away, and they got smacked in the mouth. Meanwhile, Penn State's road, or Notre Dame's road, they beat some easier teams to get here. But battle tested is what the Buckeyes are. Oops, spinning off of them on a 3rd and 4 is Quinchon. 1st down to the 50-yard line. And inside of 2 minutes, it might be kneel down time. So I don't think we're going to quite get to 65-7, but it's pretty darn close here. David, take care, man. Be good. You stay cool, brother. .133 and counting for Will Howard, still in the game. Senior quarterback, transferred from Kansas State. Came here to lead this team of absolute playmakers, superstars all over the field. Became a leader, ingratiated himself to the Buckeye Nation. And whether or not he's successful in the NFL or not, I mean, that kid's never going to have to buy a drink ever again in Columbus. He can come here and sell insurance or real estate or become a banker or whatever he wants to be. He'll be very successful, and he will be loved in this city forever for what he has done this season, especially if it goes like this on Monday night. Travion left side to the 30, to the 25, and he stays in bounds. And about a 6-second, 10-second, 11-second, start the clock, 13-second difference between the game clock and the play clock. Hang on, Soupy's between the third and the fourth quarter. We've already missed it. Ohio State now not in victory formation. Looks like they're going to hand off one more time. Quinshawn going to get one more run. Left side to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Oh, they almost punched it in. That would have broken the record. 69-10 would have been one more point of victory than 65-7 by my rough math. Instead, it's going to end 62-10. Here it comes, the confetti and the elation of winning the national championship. Ohio State does it. Completes the improbable from the number 8 seed. Victory is theirs. Will Howard does what he came to campus to do. A living legend, and Emeka Egbuka, the first one to hold it up in the air, and he deserves it. What a game for him. What a game for all of these seniors, these upperclassmen, all of these guys who could have been drafted last year, who came back. They had one mission, and it was this. How about Will Howard today? 500 yards passing and 7 touchdowns. I would say that's player of the game, despite his 2 interceptions. Jeremiah Smith also had a pretty darn good day. Also had a pretty good day. Buliosis, appreciate you being on. Yes, I think the real game will probably be a little closer than this as well, although I do think Ohio State has a talent advantage. All right, let's look quickly at these statistics as we do every time. Leonard today, 12 of 21 for 109 yards and 3 picks. Like I said, he is not a player who's going to sling the rock all over the yard. He needs to be in his offense and to run. Love, 19 for 90. He did run pretty well, but Leonard was not great. 11 for negative 36. Again, that includes the sack yardages as well. Love, 4 for 34. He was the leading receiver. Faison, 3 for 51. 2 for Hayden Harrison. 2 for Evans, and 1 for Bo Collins in this one. 13 tackles for Rod Hurd. 11 for Watts. Those are your 2 safeties as your leading tacklers. A half a sack for Cross. Tuamalaka and Bowen. Somehow they had 1.5 sacks total as a team. That's weird. 2 picks again. They were both by Leonard Moore. One of them went 102 yards for a touchdown. That was their only touchdown of the day. It belonged to Leonard Moore, the true freshman. Will Howard, on the other hand, 33 of 44 for 500 yards at 75%. He had 7 touchdowns. And again, the 2 interceptions to Moore we just talked about. Quinshawn, 15 for 103 and a touchdown. Travion, 15 for 67 and then 10 for 26. They do get these guys even carries. They did a good job with the playbook there. How about Smith today, the true freshman, 10 for 249 and 4 touchdowns. Emeka Egbuka, 10 for 129 touchdown. I don't think Egbuka caught the ball at all in the second half. 2 touchdowns for G. Scott as well. Tate with 5 for 61 yards to round out the 4-headed monster. Styles with 12, 8 for Ransom. How about 8 for Ty Hamilton and Jack Sawyer, at least including multiple TFLs for each of them. 2.5 sacks for Hamilton, 1.5 for Tyleek, 1.5 for Jack, 1 for JT Tuimolau. And the picks were by Simon Igbinosun and Sonny Styles. All right, friends, that will do it. 62-10. Ohio State wins your national championship. Appreciate you being on. Sorry the game wasn't quite as fun and close and as exciting, but if you're a Buckeye fan, it went the way you wanted it to go. Win anyway, that's what I want to see. And we'll chat with some of you on our Discord on Monday during the game. Enjoy the NFL this week and enjoy the national championship on Monday. Here in my basement in Central Ohio, my name is Phil Nagy. The channel is Nagy on Sports. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Today we will say, go Bucks! And as always, go Browns!